I've been granted this opportunity to make a short presentation of the value of trade expositions. When I was first invited by the President some weeks ago, I actually was quite reluctant to make a presentation, at least on the first day. I told the President that I'm here to learn. And indeed, yesterday at the meeting, I've learned that one of the pillars of this administration for the next 3 years would be the promotion of international trade. Yes. Through the organization of trade expos in various member countries. It is indeed a daunting task. But as I have been approached time and again by the Honorable Virachai of Thailand, for the last 3 years I have said no to him, to being involved in FICAD. But believe me, he is a very, very passionate man that you cannot say no to ultimately. And after 3 years. So, as I said, there were a number of factors because my colleague, the Honorable Vincent Carlos, the former Secretary of Tourism in the Philippines, also became chairman of the East Asia Committee, and that kind of swayed my decision to join forces with Vince Carlos in the service of FICAD. So therefore, this afternoon, since I've been appointed yesterday by the Honorable Arnold Foot, President of FICAD, to chair this Trade Development Committee, I thought I could share with you some of my own experience in running trade shows in various countries in Asia. So I shall title this, The Value of Trade Expositions. Okay, 2 more slides. FICAD therefore can organize, Mr. President, a global trade exhibition perhaps focusing on 1 or 5 key industry sectors such as ICT, infrastructure. We have heard the IFC gentlemen talking about infrastructure, logistics. I think what is important in newly developing countries is the ease of moving the produce, the products to various countries, to export them, and therefore logistics is important. Agriculture, of course, is a mainstay of many economies. Therefore, it should be developed, and in many African countries in particular, natural resources, how to manage them, for example, after being processed and so on and so forth. So perhaps we could think of organizing an event that could focus on any 1 or 5 of these key industry sectors. But of course, discussing with Honorable Eric, he is looking more at environmental, new energy as a theme for the next World Conference of FICAD in Mexico in 2012. So, as I said, with the funding assistance from organizations like World Bank, Asian Development Bank, or IFC, or the United Nations agencies, therefore developing countries could be invited as buyers. That's why I asked that question. If delegates, if SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises could be invited as buyers to source for relevant products and technologies, then IFC could partner us to provide consultancy and perhaps good financing packages. Okay? And in conclusion, how FICAD can play a part is that a trade expo or an appropriate trade development program could act as a sourcing platform for developing countries to learn and possibly to purchase the needed equipment and technologies so as to improve the overall landscape of the 5 key industry sectors in their countries. I've just mentioned 5, there could well be others. We have got to study the requirements of each and every one of these countries that would like to partake in this trade development program. So hence a good program could certainly help to strengthen economic resilience and nation building in the various developing countries that we all serve. And last but not least, FICA can play a part in advancing and enhancing global economic development and prosperity in the 21st century. With that, I thank you for this opportunity. So I don't know if there are any questions.
I would like very much to find out how the logistics of the organization would work, since we indeed have spoken about the advantage of planning with all the time that we have at a meaningful event on the topic of environmental and climate change protection for 2012, which will in turn favor our treasury, because it will obviously be a money-making event, and the funds should go in terms of our organization to the treasury of FICA for more activities down the road. The idea is, if that is going to be one of the key trade shows or consumer shows altogether in 2012, I suppose that there could be other initiatives in the meantime that don't require so much anticipated work. Would you kindly run the logistics on how to start planning something that could take place in another jurisdiction prior to that, and that will also help, in my case, understand what do we need to do to provide you with all the required information?
I think the questions raised by Honorable Eric would normally require me to deliver one-day lecture. I normally do that in one day. So honestly, it takes a long time. A good trade show would require an average of 2 years to plan, from conceptualization, marketing research, to advertising, promotion, marketing, endorsement by trade agencies, promotion of targeted buyers, and so on and so forth, logistics, movement of goods and services, the construction of the various exhibit stands. It really requires a long period of timing. I don't think it's fair perhaps for me to take up too much time that I don't want to test the what they call the hospitality of our host. So I shall have a private chat with you, Honorable Eric. Yeah.
I am abusing probably everybody's time, because I've been trying to keep some time for the Consul General of Mexico, who is going to join us for lunch at 1 o'clock.
Before you speak.
Okay.
That's right. Okay. All right. Yes.
It's quite an impressive presentation, but I've been involved with the trade from the level of the private sector as well as government of Pakistan, and I am up to here straight going to Paris to represent a delegation for the Tex World, one of the largest textile exhibition in Paris. Now, I wanted to know that to promote trade there are various ways. One of the ways which is most effective is to negotiate preferential trade agreements with the respective countries, within the local countries, and then to do exchange of delegations. Are you also working on those lines also, or your specialty is to work on trade expos? Because trade expo is one of the elements to promote bilateral trade. But then there are some other equally important areas and tools whereby you can increase the trade, and one of them to take up the matter of the preferential trade agreements with the member countries, and second is exchange of delegation. I would like if you could kindly tell on these two issues.
Well, that's why I need to take the counsel of the President, meaning whether or not the Trade Development Committee would also look into the issues of FTAs, of free trade agreements, or just trade agreements, right? I think that may be beyond me. Yes, Mr. President.
Let me just make a point here.
Right.
I had a meeting with the European Union some time ago.
Right.
offering Ccsk to partner with them in turning dormant trade agreements into real business. I pointed out that there were 127